on Ep 1. I don't know when it comes out. Is it a Sunday thing?
It's already been out.
No,
okay.
Ep 2.
Oh, I see.
Is Ep 2 a thing that's happening right now as we speak? Are people watching it right now? How far behind are we on Mando?
I don't know. Andrew usually knows this stuff. Where the fuck is he?
Who gives a shit?
I don't pay attention.
My initial thoughts on Mando is, number one, I was kind of coming in not at full Star Wars fan nerd boy enthusiasm because I've been so beaten and battered and I have so much scar tissue from what they've been doing to me that I was perfectly fine like browsing Twitter and playing fucking not solitaire. I say solitaire, but I play other games online as Mandalorian was happening on the screen in front of me. So I wasn't like fully locked in, but I was okay with that because, fucking Boba Fett kind of killed my soul. So I might not have seen everything you guys saw. I might not have been like as fully locked in as you were, but I was a little bit bored. And after the episode, I realized self-awareness. I realized I was a little bit uninvested and bored. And I went looking at my usual suspects on YouTube and what they had to say about it. And most of what they said, most of the rage baiters were right, 100% right. I don't give a shit that Mandalorian's back.
Correct. I agree.
Yeah, it was so blah. It was so they made the show so pedestrian and average. They clearly ran this past a dozen focus groups, to see what's like the
I hope it's not like in the big like supposed battle between Kathleen Kennedy as one faction and then Favreau and Filoni as the other faction. I hope this isn't what we get from Favreau and Filoni winning out and finally getting to steer the ship because it was not that good. And like they made the opening scene with the big giant monster crocodile and the Mandalorian ceremony. That was stupid. And the Mandalorians were tactically.
What was even that?
They were tactically fucking retards.
Yeah, they're shooting grapnels. A thing that weighs like 40 tons. What are you going to do?
Are you going to try to like pull it over onto its belly and then rub it like a crocodile? I don't know what they were trying to do.
Gotcha.
Just return to the cave that it can't fit in.
I know. They have jetpacks. Get some distance. Back the fuck up. But yeah, all right. So
how about don't do your stupid little ceremony in this thing's hunting territory?
I know. How did they not know it was there when it popped out? Plus, it pops out of the water and it's like the size of. What, like 3 stories, 30 feet tall?
Yeah. It was.
How deep was the water? 10 feet in front of where the little 4-foot tall boy was standing. So yeah, it's all been said and done. I have nothing.
And no setup shot, like just showing the eyes looking at them from the water.
I have nothing original to say. Over the past week, it's all been said about that scene. That was stupid.
Suddenly a monster.
So I want Rob to say what he has to say, and then I'll give my feedback.
Go, Rob.
I don't know. That was just that whole scene was just weird. It was just such a suddenly a monster scene. It's like they had the whole thing written out, and somebody came by. No, just put a monster in it. There we go. That was just weird.
What was the whole Superman, Kevin Smith, Nick Cage thing? It was let's have a Thanagarian death spider. It was like that. It was
that loves the spider. Yeah.
If you ever watch that documentary, it was
great.
That producer saying that no matter whatever happens, okay, negotiate, whatever, we're gonna have a Thanagarian death spider. So somebody was like, we're gonna have a Mandalorian crocodile.
And how did Wild Wild West end? Giant fucking spider.
Giant spider. Yeah. Oh, poor fucking Mando. Damn it. At least
you have anything else to say, Rob?
Oh, I've got plenty to say about the whole episode, but
I'm just gonna. I have so little to say. I'm just gonna say it all at once. So you go. You guys talk about it. Whatever you're gonna talk about.
I have very little. My investment is so low that just y'all can go ahead and just go.
All right. So the whole episode in and of itself was just. It was just boring. They just fucked around a lot the whole episode and got really nothing accomplished. There was no real plot happening. He's got to go to a place to get a thing.
It's a fetch quest.
Yeah, there was
3 fetch quests.
And didn't we get enough of that in the last movie?
Yeah.
Go here and get that, so you can go there and get that, and it was. And so, what he does, he goes back to whatever town there with Carl Weathers, Because he needs the fucking IG-11? Why? Why do you need this?
Yeah.
What? I mean, and clearly their focus group indicated that they needed this back.
That city was called Apollo Town.
Oh, great.
Nice.
Whatever, but clearly they ran this through a focus group that said, yeah, bring that IG-11 back. We liked him. So they were like forced to, shoehorn that into the plot somehow.
Well, the worst thing about that is, unlike random events falling on the main character and forcing him to go on these fetch quests, he invented this fetch quest in his own head where suddenly he needs IG-11 and nothing else. No one else could help him. Nothing else would do but this fucktarded robot that was no doubt dead. So he's like generating his own idiot fetch quests, which usually like fate or destiny does that. But in this one, Mando's just doing it to himself.
If you need an IG-11, go buy a new one. It's a robot.
Yeah, don't they have Amazon? I mean, what the fuck?
You can get that delivered, rush delivery for like $5.99 extra.
I'm typing in IG-11 to Amazon right now, and oh my god, there's like in 2 days I can have one. I have Prime, so.
I in no way did any research for this. I didn't seek out like the trailer or anything. I had no interest going into this. And I'm going to spoil it for you now. They're just by watching the trailer, he's eventually going to put IG-11's personality into R4-D4 from the original trilogy that's sitting in the Tatooine pit. Because they showed a scene with R4-D4 and the little
Which one's R4-D4?
I would like to personally thank Andrew for the spoiler.
It doesn't matter. Which one's
he's the red R2 unit that's now sitting with that comedian chick from on Tatooine, the one that Rob likes.
Okay. All right. Please refrain from further spoilers. I'm not that.
It's not a spoiler. It was right in the trailer. It shows him sitting in the ship.
I don't watch trailers. You know this. Specifically really for this reason.
That big of a letdown that R4-D4 is going to show.
It's going to be the end of the quest. They're going to put the personality thing into that robot.
But is there anything else from the show that you would like to explain to me?
She's going to make some cheeky attempts. Amy Sedaris is going to make some cheeky attempts to be funny. I just spoiled it.
Yeah, I told you. I didn't even think I was recommending you don't even bother watching it, and you're like, no, I'll give it a chance, and you watched it.
Anyway, Carl Weathers, instead of quick drawing his blaster, I wish he would have like gone all like Apollo Creed and punched the fuckers.
Oh, that real quick, awesome. Just hit him. Yeah, that would have been good.
Damn. Yeah.
And another observation about Carl Weathers: whatever you say about him and his acting ability and stuff, the fucker knows how to do a handshake. You see that when he busted that out? Oh, yeah.
Do you think they were trying to replicate the... Did you see him and Arnold in your head?
Well, he was clearly showing off that he was not, in fact, pushing too many pencils.
Yeah, he's dealing.
Was that in the Mandalorian episode? Did they do like a cool handshake?
Yeah, hell yeah.
I didn't even notice. Okay, that's cool. You'll have to put that visual in when you do the
Skaboosh! They do the double arm grab there, man. Fucking A. You meet Carl Weathers, you bring your handshake A game. He knows.
That's true. I would be intimidated to shake that man's hand because everybody's looking at you.
Yeah, I'd try real hard and I'd like fracture a pinky or something.
I know, he's like all veiny and shit and like with the biceps and you're just like, fuck. He's like glistening with sweat and like honestly, Arnold Schwarzenegger is like the only man that could shake hands with Carl Weathers.
Well, actually, he did get out handshaked by Dolph Lundgren at one point.
With the gloves and the ring.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
And ever since then, he's been on a quest to be the ultimate handshaker.
Well, that's good story writing. Is if you want your protagonist to be awesome, you make your villain.
Yeah, he's got a handshake story arc.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
That's a good level. That's like the opposite of meta. That's like drilling down so far that no one gets it.
That's something like that you think of when you think of him. So that's probably like someone chuckled and said, "Hey, we're going to put it in a."
It's like when Rocky and Apollo were running on the beach, and maybe they scared some seagull, and some guy goes off on like a half-hour rant about how bad it was for that seagull to be interrupted. That's what Rob's doing right now. He's the opposite of meta. He's drilling down so micro into the universe that it's just absurd.
I'm being A10.
Well, he sees when with the coding of the Matrix isn't that deep.
I think they just, script instructions said they handshake, and Carl Weathers said, "No, fuck that. We're doing this."
Yeah, he's
And then Pablo said, "Hey, that'll be funny. That's cool." Like that's
Pedro
like in that
Pascal
movie.
was like in an arm cast for like 6 months after. His dislocated shoulder was.
Hey, what else you got, Rob?
Let's see. There's the IG-11 thing there where they should have just bought a new one, and really,
Did
not
y'all
much
know?
else happened.
Sorry, did y'all know that season? Wait, was this Boba Fett? I'm sorry, I'm bringing Boba Fett into the conversation. I apologize. I was about to say that for a sci-fi show, it's missing a bunch of like badass titties and ass, and then I was like, okay, Cara Dune. If you're into like the thick girls, then yeah, she's probably like hitting you. Cara Dune, she's like she could bench press her ass, but titties and ass, absolutely. And then I'm like, okay, wait, did y'all know that the Twi'lek in the bar that Boba Fett went to get tribute from, who filled up his helmet with coins? That was Jennifer Beal.
That was Jennifer Beal.
Yes,
Yeah.
we know
Jennifer
that,
Beal.
and she looks amazing for her age. Yes.
Yeah, for her age, she's absolutely. She was like in the L Word in the last 5
It's the
years.
only thing I hate about that show is that they killed her off instead of just keeping her around. She was the best looking one.
Blowing up Jennifer Beal. Ugh.
But we're digging down hard and going back into the past, but we shouldn't have to dig that hard for a modern sci-fi show to have some like hot titties and ass. So
I can't do that anymore. They've discontinued the Leia slave Leia.
I miss the 90s so much. God, I miss the 80s. I miss the 90s.
They're apologizing that
I know.
Leia was ever in that outfit and that the ship is called Slave One.
I miss the unapologetic titties and ass.
Yeah.
No,
so
nobody likes those. Nobody wants to see that anymore. People want to see strong female.
Women don't like
lesbians.
seeing pretty women looking good.
The only reason that Voyager got me in is because I knew that eventually I'd see Jerry Ryan wearing a really, really tight bodysuit, and that okay. Also, the relationship with the hologram doctor and her was awesome, and that was like he was the.
She
best
chose that
character.
outfit, by the way. That was her idea.
Fuck yeah, Jerry Ryan, because
she said I look good in it, and I think we should do it.
Yeah.
She said, if I have to wear heels, I'm putting on something that shows off my body.
You know who else worked out well sci-fi wise, Milfitude? Is like I said earlier.
All the girls in Farscape?
Well, in a previous conversation that from tonight, which will be like not linked at all. But anyway, Samantha Carter from Stargate. I didn't like her at the start because they were playing up her geeky side and she had the short hair. But then once she like showed up at Atlantis and once you see Arc of Truth, you're like, yeah, Samantha Carter's got some like.
I liked her. Actually, I loved her geeky, and then I just, like you said, I liked her later on because you really appreciated the character because she earned it. She earned
she started out as like such a nerd, and much like Daniel Jackson, she was the female version of. Book nerd that eventually became like so competent in like hand-to-hand combat and
warfare.
A great
commander. She was like the commander at that point. Yeah.
And also in Stargate Atlantis, there was one episode where the puddle jumper was sunk and Rodney was in it. And Rodney always had a thing for.
Oh,
I remember that episode.
I remember that episode. And she showed up and she's like wearing like a wet tank top and she's all like, yeah. That was the best. That was like the best like sci-fi nerd bait. Like that was how you do it.
Was it as good as Phantom Garnett showing up for Angus?
Carter would beat up Garnett with her boobs alone. But
maybe that's the same costume designer that's still working at Sci-Fi Channel. Did both of those girls?
It's same vibe though. I like that. You gotta get the fan.
It's like some 87-year-old woman who's just off to the side smoking a cigarette and being like, "Yeah, put her in a sexy dress."
Get some fan service. That's what sci-fi nerds want.
That's what the boys want.
Well, that's why I lament the decades we've been living, sadly, for the last 10 or 20 years.
The good old days were better.
If I say to somebody who's 20 years old, Skinamax, they don't know what I mean.
Right, I know. And you're a pig for thinking that. That's your toxic masculinity speech.
Is that even a channel nowadays?
Cinemax? Yeah, Cinemax.
It is. Nobody's called it Skinamax in a long fucking time. I mean, I remember like snow school, ski school, snow patrol. It's like a bunch of people are at ski school, and Shannon Tweed's there, and she shows her boobs a lot.
That was
miss
like
that
the
movie.
episode of
plot.
It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia when they go skiing.
What did they mention that movie? Or
No, you didn't see that episode?
I probably did. I watched the whole thing, but I just
They actually got like actors from those old movies.
oh,
the
they had
guys
Chainsaw.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Chainsaw.
and he's having sex with the girl, and he's just having the best time.
It was Chainsaw from summer school.
And they're all doing cocaine and stuff.
Oh God, Chainsaw and Dave. Imagine, okay, Andrew, go to work, and next time you're at work, somehow, some way, I know this is very challenging, but try to work in a Chainsaw and Dave reference. And
Only
I
my
will do
one
so.
manager would get it if he
Okay.
did, and he would have he doesn't remember anything from that time.
so
Like when I mention things, it's the first time he's thinking of it. Usually, since that time, I could just say, "Hey, remember those two guys that showed up in summer school and all those other like weird
and
teen
he's like
comedy movies?"
5
And he'd be like,
seconds
"Oh
of
yeah."
thinking about it, and it's like, oh fuck. Yeah. Well, okay, make your cunningly timed Chainsaw and Dave reference, and then pause for like a second or two, and then go for high fives, and just let us know if anybody high fives you.
I don't know anyone that clever that's gonna pick up on
Get it? Okay. Damn it! I hate the youth of today.
I know. I just what happened the other day. That kind of reference happened, and like I came home. What was the reference? And I came home and told you, Rob, because you're the only one that could appreciate. Do you
Don't
remember? That's what happened. Like no one. Oh! I was at work, and I literally for 10 minutes was chopping broccoli.
And nobody knew that
And I
Danny
was looking around
Carvey.
all excited to be like, look, like with the hands, like, look, I'm chopping broccoli, and but there's no one that would appreciate that because they can't get the chopping broccoli reference, and
Well, you
even
can't-
people my age,
You can't make that joke nowadays because it's anti something.
vegetable, anti-vegan, I don't know.
All right, real quick.
I'm
I don't
going
know
to
if
the
Cast of all
store.
white people. So
All right, so what else you got for Mandalorian, Rob?
yeah, I don't know if this is going to become a video. If anybody has anything really poignant to say about Mandalorian, make it happen now. 'Cause
nothing happened. Basically, that was
gay.
the whole show.
Gay.
Nothing happened.
I'll give it a
Okay.
second episode because it's earned my attention for 2 episodes.
All right, now I'm going to talk about what I think. Overall, my review is disappointing.
Gay.
I went in with no enthusiasm whatsoever. I kind of need to go back and rewatch the 2 seasons of Mandalorian, which I did like. But that's since I've seen Andor. Like when I saw it, Mandalorian at the time, after all the other shit they've done with Star Wars, I'm like, oh my god, yeah, it's just a simple space adventure. That's all I ever wanted. This is fun. But then we got Andor, and I'm like, oh my god, like Star Wars could be good, like good again, like Empire good. And
That's like I think if you compare like Voltron to The Wire, there's just there's
it's a totally different like vibe,
yeah, it's so just too you might
Well,
like
I've
one
seen
or
Voltron.
both.
But it kind of evolved. If you watch, see, my headcanon right now exists as Andor season 1, Rogue One, the original trilogy, the first 2 seasons of Mandalorian, and that's it. And maybe like I remember some of the stuff from the cartoons, but I don't like ever feel like I want to go back and rewatch any of that.
Yeah.
But like as that goes, like once Empire goes into Jedi, then you get the Ewoks, which are a little bit silly, and then you get Mandalorian. So the vibe of everything changes, and now currently my headcanon ends at the end of season 2, where Luke Skywalker shows up, he gets the baby Yoda, and now the new cycle is going to start. Like that's like a good end cap to the whole story. Absolutely hated the seaweed-looking alien, which Rob thought was kind of cool.
Yeah, the plant guy. He's a plant
Yeah.
guy. They don't have enough plant people.
When you go to a sushi bar and like at the far end of it where they keep the wasabi and they also have that like green shit.
That's what I was thinking. That's what he looked like. Yeah.
Among his
hate-
people, he looks totally badass.
I
He's
hate the
pulling all
fact-
kinds of vegetable tail.
He had like a real cool like sideburns for a vegetable person.
Right. So here's my thoughts. I am not invested at all. It really has to pull something out of the hat some point in the season for me to be like on board to even include it in my headcanon. But right now, Star Wars ends at the end of season 2 of Mandalorian.
Word.